humans, Disney fans, lend me your ears. No one wants to talk or even think about this, but it happens. What do you do when your kid gets sick at Disney? I've got some firsthand insight and advice for you. Let's chat. Hey everybody, Melanie here, and today I want to talk to you about something that I experienced just recently on our family trip to Walt Disney World. You are there! You're at Walt Disney World! The time has finally come. You're at the most magical place on earth. When your child walks up to you and says,
Mommy, I don't feel so well.
Oh, honey, you must be mistaken. You're just fine. You're fine. Mommy and Daddy have spent lots of money and we've been planning this for 18 months. You're fine. You're gonna be. You're not fine. Why now? Why now? Yes, this happened to me. And it was not fun, nor ideal, but you know what? Sometimes that's just life. And we had to figure out how to handle this most unmagical turn of events on our magical vacation. Let's start with the basics, shall we? You're in the parks and your child starts complaining that they're not feeling well, or they get stung by a bee, or they fall and they get a bad scrape on their knee. What's a parent to do? Well, a good start is to make your way to the first aid station within the park. At Magic Kingdom, this is located near the Crystal Palace. At Epcot, it's near the Epcot Experience, located between Test Track and the Mexico Pavilion. At Hollywood Studios, it's right up front by the Crossroads of the Worlds and the entrance. And at Animal Kingdom, you'll find it right between Creature Comforts, or Starbucks, and the DVC booth. And of course, water parks feature first aid as well. So make your way to the first aid station and the friendly folks there will help you assess your situation and help you make decisions that will get you and your family members on the road to wellness. If that decision involves getting a Band-Aid and some antibiotic ointment, congratulations! You'll be on your way back in the magic in no time. But for some, myself included, things aren't so simple. The first time we visited first aid was at Animal Kingdom, and my son's ailments included a low-grade fever, sleepiness, and a lack of appetite. I was feeling the need to get him checked out, so Jody, the delightful and helpful first aid cast member, gave us some options. So, did you know that Disney has a service wherein they will pick you up and drop you off at an urgent care to get checked out? The pickup and drop-off service is free, and you just have to pay the urgent care for your appointment. This service is available for pickup and drop-off from the parks or from your resort. Secondly, did you know that there are services for house call, or rather resort call doctors to come to you at your Walt Disney World resort and give you a checkup? The medical concierge and docs, or doctors on-call services, are two of those options, and they are available 24/7. Now, of course, prices for these services vary depending on what ails you and also depending on your personal insurance plan, so I'll spare you the details of the prices for these resort call options. Now, for us personally, after being given these options and calling our family doctor back at home, we were advised to give the kiddo one more day and see how we felt in the morning. Great! We have a game plan. Come morning, the kiddo in question did in fact appear to be on the upswing. His fever was lower without the use of medication. He was feeling a bit more like his peppy self. We thought we were in the clear and headed off to Hollywood Studios for another day of magic. Right? Wrong! A couple hours in, and the kiddo began having stomach pain. We're talking extreme stomach pain, like wailing, gnashing of teeth, squealing in pain, stabbing abdominal pain. So we make a beeline for that first aid station. This time around, a few things were different, but one thing remained the same. Jody was there again. Yes, even at a different park. What a blessing and comfort to interact with the same cast member we saw the day before. She remembered us and really helped us out. She advised me, in between screams from my poor child, that those options for the ride to the clinic that she had given me the previous day probably were not viable because those clinics don't really have anything to deal with or diagnose abdominal pain. And that we'd probably go to the clinic but then just be sent to the hospital. And she then advised that an ambulance to the hospital right then and there was the way to go. I'd like to interject here that though I may seem like I've got it all together in these videos, by this point in time, I had broken down and started to sob, like ugly cry. But Jody, sweet Jody, the first aid cast member, being the sensitive soul that she is, picked up on my panic. I mean, it wasn't hard to pick up on, like tears, snot, weeping, I was a mess. She assured me that the cost of the ambulance is covered by Disney. What? She then proceeded to fill out a Mears taxi voucher so that after our time at the hospital, we could get back with a free ride to the resort. I was pretty blown away that this was an option that Disney offered. Super grateful and just wanting my child to get some relief, we called that ambulance and we were picked up and on our way to Advent Health Center for Children in Celebration, Florida. Now, I would just like to add right here that I was very pleased with the nurses and the doctors and the staff and the care that we were given at this particular hospital. And if this ever happens to you, be sure and request this particular location, as I was told there are a few hospitals around the Disney area. After a few hours and tests and fluids at the hospital, we were sent home with a diagnosis of strep throat with a side of constipation. Antibiotics and a laxative were in order, and the only way to get that, since they did not have a pharmacy on site at the hospital, was to get a prescription filled. And the stressometer was starting to creep up there again. Now, they gave him his first dose of antibiotics right then and there on the spot at the hospital, but now I had to figure out a pharmacy to have the rest filled at and take an Uber and pick it up and all of that jazz, right? Wrong! Little did I know about this next incredible service that Disney resorts offer, and that's prescription delivery. When you're at Disney and have the need to get a prescription filled or refilled, call in the prescription to Turner Drugs. Here's how it all went down for us. My husband called Turner Drugs. They had him email a picture of the prescriptions to them so that they could be filled, with the promise that we would mail in the paper hard copy prescriptions in the addressed and stamped envelope that they would provide in the bag with the meds. Mere hours later, Turner Drugs dropped off our 2 prescriptions along with that envelope we needed to mail in the hard copies. We mailed the hard copies and voila! We started the medication and the little guy began feeling better post-haste. I'll mention here that Turner Drugs will also deliver prescription meds to the parks as well. And thus ends our bout with sickness at Walt Disney World, right? Wrong! It's wrong again. It's wrong again. Can't catch a break. 2 days later, our older son began complaining that he didn't feel very well. But this time, we knew exactly what was going on. Because of the course of all this craziness, we discovered that the little guy was a little confused on which toothbrush was his and used his brother's toothbrush. Oh, wow. We happened to be on a down day anyway, and this time we opted to just take a lift to the nearest CVS Minute Clinic to get a rapid strep test and a prescription filled and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, there are several CVS's in the area, and not all of them have Minute Clinics, so you want to be sure you go to this location, this one right here. Now, since it is the closest to Walt Disney World, it also makes it one of the busiest. So make sure you go on CVS's website and book your appointment at the Minute Clinic online, and then just show up at your appointment time to avoid a long wait. And there you have it, friends. That's what you do when your kid gets sick at Walt Disney World. I sincerely hope that you never need this information. But God forbid if you do. Now you know. Have you ever had to use any of these services on your Walt Disney World vacation? If so, share your experiences and pro tips in the comments below. And friends, if this video was helpful to you at all, please consider giving it a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. And as always, if you don't want to miss out on any of the Disney fun here at Lend Me Your Ears, be sure to click that subscribe button and the bell right next to it. Until next time, this is Melanie saying, stay healthy.